I was going to say, how much time do we have?
You're like, wait a minute. All right. Welcome back to the No Excuse Mindset podcast. I'm your host, Wellness Coach Jay. And today I'm here with Vanessa McNeal. How's it going, girlfriend?
Good. Thanks for having me.
No problem. No problem. Introduce yourself to the people. Tell them a little about what you do and a little about yourself.
So I'm Vanessa. I'm a life coach and a speaker. And I would say that my work is, my path is non-traditional in the sense that I'm working with leaders, professionals, people of all kind that want to work through inner bottlenecks. So they're feeling stuck. They have like this internal blockages. They're usually able to identify like how they feel, but they don't know how to work through how they feel. They don't know where to start. And so that's where I come in. I really help people understand like what's happening in your life. Why are you where you're at? So working with a lot of people in transition, working with a lot of people who have probably done a lot of self-work, but don't know how to get to the next step in their healing or their transformation, their life. And then I speak about those things on stage too. I talk about the nervous system. I talk about trauma. I talk about why we are the way that we are and how that impacts our life in the world. So it's really big, deep work.
Yeah, that's beautiful. That's awesome. That's something that we all can benefit from is some deep work, right?
Exactly.
Your path spans documentaries, filmmaking, social activism, and now transformational coaching and speaking. Mm-hmm. What ignited your passion for motivational speaking and mindset work?
Yeah, I would say it's my own personal story. So I come from a very colorful history in terms of my own life and trauma. So I'm a survivor of childhood abuse and violence. And I've personally done a lot of work on my own to get to the point where I'm seeing life without like the filter or the lens of trauma or hardship. And I wanted to help other people to be able to do the same thing because I think a lot of times people get stuck in their stories. They get stuck in their past. And we don't learn how to ever really work through that. And so I went through my own journey of really figuring that out. And I wanted to help other people. And it started with filmmaking. Back in 2017, I made a short film about my own life, and then it turned into short films and then feature-long films about sharing stories of other people, particularly survivors of sexual violence. And then 2020, it took a turn, and I wanted to do more one-on-one work with people. That's when I started life coaching, really helping people on a deep level of like, who are you? Why are you this way? How do you change it if you don't like it? And then I've been speaking since about 2018 about all of these topics.
Awesome. That's amazing.
Thank
amazing. So you use your personal storytelling and neuroscience-backed coaching to fuel transformation. Was there a defining moment or experience that told you, hey, this is what I'm meant to do?
I think that, I think I've always helped people on a macro level, but I think it was when I really started to work with people one-on-one that I really saw that my gift was helping people walk through darkness. Like that, like they're like, we know, I guess I would compare it to like animals, like owls. We know that they're nocturnal and they can like see the best at night. That's what I do in my work. I'm like holding people's hand through their darkness. And it wasn't until I started working with people on a deep level one-on-one that I was like, this is why I'm here on earth. It's like to really walk people through their dark stuff, the stuff that they don't want to face themselves, the stuff they would never tell anyone else. That's what I'm here to do.
Yeah, that's really challenging to do too as well. Would you say that your spirit animal is an owl then?
I think it's becoming one of those.
Yeah, helping people navigate through the darkness. I like the way you put that. Can you walk us through your Release Reprogram Rebirth framework? And what does each phase look like and how do you guide people through that?
Yeah, so in coaching, what I realized is that a lot of us, I would say most people are, they're not great narrators of their own life. They're lying to themselves. They're pretending to not know things about themselves or their life, which I love what you do. It's like no excuses, right? And what I do is I come in and I walk them through the darkness, helping them see what they're not seeing or what they're choosing to not see. And what that looks like, the first stage is release. So I'm working with people to help them understand what is the root of not just your symptoms. Everybody comes to me with symptoms like, I'm unfulfilled. Well, that's a symptom of a deeper problem. People come to you because they're overweight. Well, that's just a symptom of a deeper problem. What is the root cause? And that's what the release is all about. It's understanding what is the root cause of your trauma? What is the root cause of your shame? What is the root cause of your relationships that aren't the way that you would like them to be? And so it's this really deep process of unearthing what it is that's holding you back. And I compare it to like weeds. Nobody likes weeds. They just like to pluck the top part off so it looks better, right?
Yeah.
That's not what I do. I really do the deep work to pull the root of that out so it doesn't keep growing in other areas of their life. And then we move into reprogramming. And that's really all about changing their internal dialogue, because again, we are not great narrators of our own life, and helping them change their language, helping them change their the stories that they tell themselves in their heads, the stories that they tell other people that are usually unreliable about themselves. And then we move into that last phase, and that's all about helping them embody who it is that they want to be. And I feel like that word embodiment gets thrown around everywhere, but the way that I understand embodiment is that if you could reach out and grab the person that you want to be, bring it into your body and make it who you are, that's what embodiment is. And that's what I show people how to do, really walking the walk, talking the talk, and being the person that is usually already there. It's just under all of these layers of shame or trauma or belief systems that just don't work anymore. Yeah. And so that's my process.
Pull it out, mine it out of them.
Exactly.
Come up out of them. I remember watching the movie Dr. Dolittle. He said, "Come out of this boy." Yes. You talked about aligning your inner world with outer successes for high achievers. You work with leaders, CEO, professionals. How do you help them overcome burnout, stress, self-doubt, and impostor syndromes?
Yeah. Yeah, that piece, it looks different for everyone because everyone's coming in with just this different perspective, but helping them understand that burnout is just a symptom. Their exhaustion is just a symptom. And it's something that I'm helping them understand that it's usually the lens that they're seeing their life through that's making their life really difficult. So again, are you seeing your life through the lens of trauma? Are you seeing your life through the lens of shame or disappointment? Because if you do that, then your entire reality is going to look like that way. So really working with people individually in this really personalized approach to help them understand why is your life feeling and looking the way that it is, because it's usually because of the way that they're thinking, feeling, and behaving.
Yeah. Your thoughts become your reality, right? And you're just what you see out in the world is just a projection of the mind. So definitely spot on. You often reference the nervous system. Understanding it, why is the nervous system awareness so essential for well-being, healing, and leadership?
Yeah, that's a great question. So the nervous system is this very complex inner world that it really runs every part of our life, and that's why I talk about it so much. And this system it's really the framework in which we're seeing our life through. So our thoughts, our actions, our breath, everything comes from the nervous system. And there's 3 states that we're either living from. It's the green state, which is balanced. Our innovation comes from there, our play, our creativity, anytime that you're really in a state of health or well-being, it comes from that green state. And then you have this middle state, which is where a lot of the people that I work with live. A lot of high achievers, professionals, leaders, they're living in this orange state is what I call it. And that's a nervous system state where your nervous system has decided to just go into overdrive, and it's a fight or flight state. So you're getting a ton done. All the people that come to me, the outside of their life looks really great. Yeah. They're accomplished. They're typically high achievers in their career. They have money. From the outside, it looks really nice, but on the inside, they're running. Yes. They don't know how to stop. They don't know how to take a break. They don't know how to rest. And so it's this state of constant just movement, pressure, fear, anxiety lives there. And so people have to understand why they're living in that state. And it's because the nervous system has decided that the best way to live is to just keep moving, because it might be too intimidating to slow down. It might create feelings that you don't want to face when you slow down.
Definitely.
It's really deep when you start looking into it that way. And then there's that lower state, and that's the red state, or it's the dorsal state. And that's a state where the nervous system has just decided to shut down for survival. So people who are in that mid level where they're constantly running, they're moving, you can't be there. I mean, you can be there for a while. People spend months or years there, but eventually your nervous system will shut down. And it's like thinking about animals in the wild. They'll run from their predators, but eventually they'll play dead. And that's what we do in life. When we can't run anymore, when we can't hide from things anymore, when we can't hide from other people or ourselves. So that red state is a state that people come to me to. They're like, that's where burnout lives. Yeah. Like, hey, I can't even like reply to emails right now. I can't even reply to my friends that want to hang out with me. And I don't have any enjoyment in life anymore. And that's the nervous system deciding that the best way to respond for survival is to shut down. So I talk about the nervous system in those three states. And it's really important to understand where we are on that chart, why we are on that chart, and if you're in those lower two states, how to get to a place where there's more life, there's more energy, there's more balance and flow.
Definitely. I mean, I would think that would be a major challenge for somebody to figure out that, or be aware, self-aware that they're in these states too as well. So what does that look like as far as people, like, they realize that and say, hey, I need help, or I mean?
Yeah, I would say that, yes, self-awareness is definitely the first step. You have to know which state that you're in. I would say that most people, when they're coming to me from coaching, they've been in one of those lower two states for long enough to be like, I know that I'm here and I don't know how to get out of here.
Yes.
And so it's really like, first step is awareness. Second step is like understanding what is the root cause of why you're in that mid-level where most people are living, especially in the culture that we have. We don't live in a world that tells us it's okay to rest. We don't live in a world that tells us it's okay to be ourselves. So why are you running? What are you running from? And really understanding that is important.
Yeah. You probably find people that are just running and just to be running, like you said, because it's just a natural response. Like, hey, you don't have to run from anything. It's
exactly.
Okay. You don't have to run anymore.
Yes.
There's no predator.
No, exactly.
From the TEDx stage to coaching, with companies like the U.S. Army and stuff, how has your leadership philosophy evolved over the different spaces that you've been in?
Yeah, I think what I've learned as a leader is that the best way that I can be in services to people is to let them be the expert of their life. Because yes, I have like this background. Yes, I have a lot of research under my belt and I've learned a lot of tools, but I can't come in and work with someone and pretend that I know their life better than they do, because they're the expert. And so to be in the highest level of service to someone is to really let them know that they have what it takes to be able to be where they're at. And I think that the more that I coach, the more that I can see that be like just the most empowering way to be able to work with someone.
Yeah. So you're not just like, hey, guiding them. You're kind of just walking with them, essentially. Exactly. Like, hey, let me walk with you on this journey of self-discovery. What does your coaching actually look like? Is it one-on-one? Is it groups? Is it through retreats? Or is it a mix?
So it's a mix. So I primarily do one-on-one coaching, and then I also host workshops, group workshops, a couple times a year. And then for speaking, I get asked to do like group trainings and stuff like that. And so it's a mix, but I would say the heart of what I do is really like one-on-one working with me. One-on-one.
Is that what you really like and enjoy? That probably allows you to dive a lot deeper than a group session. Yeah.
And the impact is huge because, I think about this, that when I'm working with one person, I'm really working with all the people in their life because everyone is impacted by them.
Yes.
Especially, moms particularly. Yeah. I'm not working with just the mom. I'm working with her kids through this mom.
Yes.
Because when she shows up, everyone feels her energy in that house. If she has a partner, her partner's feeling her energy. And so I'm able just to go so deep when I'm working one-on-one with people. And I just think about all of the lives that they touch when they go out into the world. And I have clients that I've worked with from 5 years ago that still tell me about how it's impacting them and it's impacting their work and the people that they're going out into the world and interacting with.
Yes.
So it's very important.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's the ultimate reward right there, right?
Yeah.
Because, you know, it sets a ripple effect through everything that they're doing, especially when you're dealing with like CEOs or leaders or parents.
Yes.
You know, everybody's affected by them. So if you can plant a positive seed within them, then you can watch it grow throughout the whole company. That's beautiful.
Thank you.
What individuals usually seek out your work, and what's the most common challenges that they bring to you? Like,
Yeah, I work with a lot of leaders. I work with a lot of professionals, again, like who have from the outside looking at everything together, but they're usually going through some sort of internal transition between knowing that who they have been up until that point, like might have, you know, garnered a lot of success and all of that, but it's not working for them moving forward. So they're usually burnt out. They're lacking self-trust. They're lacking self-belief. And a lot of them have a trauma background, and maybe they've done some work with it in the past. But again, feeling like, okay, I have to do something different if I want to feel different in my life. And so that's what they're usually looking like.
yeah, it's kind of getting to that tipping point, you know. It's like, I always say change occurs through inspiration or devastation. So you kind of like in a devastated space where, hey, I need to change that. Without naming names, of course, like, could you share a powerful success story of someone who came to you feeling stuck, and how did they change?
Yeah. There's a client who's really near and dear to my heart. She came to me. She was a senior leader on her team and has like again, beautiful life. And on the outside looking in, I think people would probably say that it was like picture perfect, but she came to me feeling like really misaligned internally, just like crushing feelings of like self-doubt, had a lot of unhealthy patterns and coping mechanisms that she was aware of, but didn't know why she had them and didn't know how to get rid of them. And I'll never forget, after working with her for 12 weeks, she made a lot of changes through that process. She let go of a really unhealthy relationship that she was in, and not just that, but understood why she picked it in the first place and kept it, even though she knew it wasn't healthy for her. And then I'll never forget that she told me about how her relationship with her daughter changed after that.
Oh, wow.
She said that her daughter started to notice how regulated she was. Like before, she was like just not the safest person for her to talk to or for her to share her things with. But by that end of the time that mom worked with me, she was regulated. She was in a place where she became a healthy, safe space for her daughter. Her relationship changed with her daughter, and she had this confidence about her that you could just like feel and not see.
Yes.
And so it was really, really a big work that she did.
Wow, that's beautiful.
Thank you.
That's beautiful. And then it healed that other relationship too as well. So when working with leaders and trauma survivors, how do you balance the tough accountability and deep compassion? Like,
Ooh, that's such a dance. Such a dance. Yeah, between holding someone accountable and also just being trauma informed about what got them there.
yes.
I think it's realizing and remembering that more than one thing can be true at once. So just because I know that you have a trauma history or you've been hurt by people doesn't mean that you can then go into the world and start hurting other people, because you've become now hardened. And so it's understanding, yes, I understand why you've gone through that, and it's informed the lens that you're seeing life through, but that doesn't mean that you let go of your softness or you let go of the way that you treat people or the way that you treat yourself. So I think it's acknowledging both, because they're both real and true, but it's again going back to that piece of what lens are you seeing life through? Are you seeing it through the lens of trauma? Are you acting out on that now? And how can you get to a place where, yes, we see the trauma, we hear the trauma, we get that that's your lens, but how do we take that, like pull that lens down and put on a different one? Because I think a lot of times, I just talked about this morning, that we don't often see our life in the way that it really is because of our filters. And there's we let go of this neutrality. I really believe that everything is neutral until given meaning. So there's so many ways that we can interpret something. There's so much meaning that we can make from any one thing, but we get stuck because we're seeing life with a certain lens, a certain framework, and then we make everything that. Well, is that a universal truth? Is that the whole truth? Is that an actual truth at all? And so being able to work with people on that front of like, again, yes, I know you have trauma. Yes, I see why you see the world that way. But again, I'm going to hold you accountable, and I'm going to and invite you to see the world differently through a softer lens, through a brighter lens, through a healthier lens, because maybe the world is that too.
Yeah. So giving them, opening up their perspective. We just came off of Men's Mental Health Month, so I feel like the next question is really good for that. What's a common myth people have about healing or growth that you find yourself correcting often?
Ooh.
And also on to that, like, do you find a lot of men seeking out help?
I do.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, we live in a world where men aren't given the same range of emotion. Men aren't given the same invitation that women are to feel their feelings or have a place to go to heal. So men definitely come to me for that. But a common myth that I have to really bring to people's attention is that trauma doesn't have to be like this big display of hardship for someone to be impacted by it. And it's this understanding of like, why are we comparing our trauma?
Yeah.
Like, it's so unhelpful. It's so unnecessary. Like, if you're drowning in 6 inches of, or 6 feet of water, why are you comparing it to someone drowning in 12 feet?
Yeah.
We're both drowning.
Yeah.
Why are we comparing our suffering? Why does my suffering have to feel valid or big enough to garner how I'm feeling? And so that's a big myth that I'm breaking all the time, that we don't have to compare our trauma. It doesn't have to be this big, disastrous event. For it to be meaningful, for it to have an impact on us, for it to be something that we get to acknowledge. And so that's a really big one right there.
Definitely. Yeah, because small things could really have a huge effect on someone's life, and you don't know until you go to the root, like you talked about. We go to the no excuse mindset round. So we talk about kind of what you do personally. What's one of your daily rituals or habits you don't skip no matter what?
That's so good. Just taking space for myself. And that's going to look different every day because I'm a mom of 2 and a partner and a business owner, but it's always me being able to get away by myself. What I do at that time looks different, but I think the time to self-reflect, that's super important, just to be able to sit with myself and my thoughts and just have space, because I don't think we ever really give ourselves enough permission to have that. Yeah. So that's really important to me.
That's probably challenging to find space, though, in time, because you got 2 little ones running around. You got so many hats that you wear, and then find that space. Do you try to do that, like, hey, early in the morning, or you say, hey, this is my time at night? Like, when do you try to?
Every day looks different because my newborn, she does what she wants. And we're still learning a routine with her. But, so it looks different. And I think that that's the piece that people don't value as much, is that we have to be flexible. Sometimes it would be great if it was 6 a.m. every day or 6 p.m. every day, but like, we have to be flexible with our lives. Yeah. And as long as it's getting done, that's the most important thing. So that's what I tell myself. Like, it might not have looked like the same time it was yesterday, but I'm still taking space for myself.
But I got it done. So really giving yourself grace, but hey.
Yes. And accountability.
And accountability, yeah.
Exactly.
On days you don't feel motivated, what do you lean on? Like, what keeps you going?
I heard something a while back that has stuck with me, and it's really like, it's changed my internal relationship with doing things that I really need to do for myself. Someone had said, it's not that you don't have time, it's that the things that you're spending time on are usually aren't in alignment with your values. Because I was really thinking about that. I recently started working back out again. I'm kickboxing now, and it's so amazing, by the way. But I used to tell myself I didn't have time for that, but it wasn't about my time. There was a value misalignment happening in my own life, because I would look at my screen time report and it showed that I was spending so many hours on my phone.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, you know what? It's not that I don't have the time. I'm misappropriating my time, and I'm not placing as much value on my health. And so that just shook me when I read that. It was like, it's not that you don't have time. It's that there's a value misalignment issue in your life. And ever since I heard that, I make time every single day to work out now.
Awesome. Yeah. That'll do it. It kind of shakes you to your core like, okay, I actually do have time because I've been watching this Netflix series and I've been watching it for 8 hours,
Yeah.
so I did have the time, but I just look at it differently. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So that alignment is a major key. What's the hardest excuse you've had to overcome in your own life or mindset?
Ooh. Oh my, where do we begin? There's really two that come to mind, and I'll take them through you quick. One is being a mom, because that's a really good excuse that I have to take care of other people.
Yeah.
And because they always need me, especially because of their age. I have a 5-year-old and a newborn. But I remember one of my favorite mentors told me that if I use being a mom as an excuse, I'm going to use that for the rest of my life, because I'm always going to be a mom. And it's the biggest disservice that I could to give to my kids, is to always use them as an excuse for why I'm not moving in life the way that I need to move, because I'm a sovereign being and I need to make my own decisions and choices for me. And usually when I do that, like, I show up as a better mom, which
Yes.
is like the craziest part. And then the other excuse was my trauma, that because I had gone through so many dark things, gave me a reason to not be in the fullness of my power and the fullness of who I am as a person. Because again, such a great excuse, like, people have hurt me, people have violated me before, people have really hurt me. So that just kind of gives me permission to go out into the world and like be scared or be fearful or be worried all the time. And it really doesn't, because again, I am a sovereign being and I can decide that I don't have to live my life that way. And when I went from like this state of just being like a victim to a survivor, like, that changed everything about my identity. Because I would always self-identify as like, yep, I'm a victim. And well, what do victims do? They feel sorry for themselves a lot of time. They have a lot of reasons to feel afraid. They have a lot of reasons to like live in a shell. And when I shifted that mindset of like, now I'm not a victim anymore, I'm a survivor. When survivor feels like very empowering, it feels uplifting, it feels like I can make meaning from this darkness that has happened to me. And that's exactly what I've ended up doing with my life.
That's awesome. Yeah, you molded it. Hey, you took it. Psh, don't let it shape you. I'm shaping it. And that's awesome what your mentor told you. She kind of knocked that excuse, or whoever knocked that excuse right out of your head. Hey, don't use the excuse as being a mom, because that's something you're going to lean on for life. And that's so true.
Yes.
Like, we find these excuses and we just hold on to them, and then we just lean on them. They become a crutch. Hey, well, that's always worked. It's like, well, that's not reality right now. Do you believe resilience is something you're born with, or is it built?
I think that that's something that's shifting, like, my mindset around resilience, because I have this newborn. I don't necessarily think she's born with resilience, because she shouldn't have to be. I believe that I get to be a buffer for her, so she doesn't need anything to need resilience for. Like, she shouldn't have to experience hardship right now. I am the buffer between her and stress. I am the buffer between her and fear. I am the buffer between her and any thing that could hurt her. So she has no reason to have it. So in the future, when she's older and she's experienced more of life and it's more appropriate for me to not like shelter her from anything, then I would say that resilience would grow and be something that gets bigger over time. But I don't think that we have to be born with it, because we shouldn't have to need it. Yeah. If that makes sense.
No, definitely. Imagine that you had 1 minute to reset someone's mindset. What would you say? You get a quick minute of motivation.
Yeah. Let me really think about that. If I had 1 minute to change someone's mindset, I would ask them, what are they pretending to not know? Meaning, what are you pretending to not know about yourself? What are you pretending to not know about what's holding you back? What are you pretending to forget about what you need to do in order to feel better? And who are you being in service to right now if you're not in service to yourself? Are you being in service to your job over yourself? Are you being in service to your kids over yourself, your partner over yourself? Like, if you're not in service to yourself in the highest way, then who are you serving? And where went wrong in your life for that to have been a priority over you? Are you in service to your trauma right now and the stories that it tells you? Or that's what I would really invite someone to sit with. Like, what are you pretending to forget? Because we all do that. What are you lying to yourself about? What are you running away from yourself about?
Yeah.
And if someone can start to answer some of those questions, they can make so much progress internally. But I think what a lot of people are doing are running from themselves. They're hiding from themselves because answering those questions are so hard. And oftentimes they give us scary answers that we don't want to hear. And then the other invitation I would give someone is to ask themselves better questions, because the quality of our questions is a direct proportion to the quality of our lives. And a lot of people come and they're like, well, how do I feel better? Or why do I feel this way? Or why am I lonely? Those are pretty low quality questions. Like, I might know the answer, you might know the answer, but how can you ask yourselves better questions to get better answers?
Yeah.
So I think that would be another invitation that I would give someone.
Oh, that's awesome. That's got me working. I'm like, oh. What's one area of wellness that people tend to ignore while chasing their success?
Their emotional health.
Emotional health.
Yeah. I mean, in your world, it's probably their physical health, but I think people's emotions are often disregarded. Because again, we don't live in a world that tells us to prioritize how we feel or, what our inner world is doing. It's like, as long as you get it done is all that matters. And it's like, well, that usually comes at a cost to a lot of people.
Yeah.
Especially when we're ignoring ourselves. And so I think that piece is really important.
Emotional wellness. No, definitely. Yeah, I see that. I think people initially come in motivated by the physical, but there's obviously a deeper root in that, whether it's mental health, whether it's, relationship wise. So it goes off into other aspects. So yeah, I would agree on that. Mm-hmm. What's your favorite quote? Or do you have a mantra or scripture that anchors you in your moments?
Yeah, I would say one that always comes up with my clients is that the elephant in the room diffuses the charge. One of my the same mentor that told me about the motherhood excuse told me that. And what he means by that is when you're able to speak something or bring it out on the table, it doesn't hold as much power over you. So whether we're talking about hard conversations with other people, or whether we're talking about our trauma that we live with but don't want to tell the world or ourselves, whatever we're talking about, when we speak it, when we put it on the table, it loses its power and its frequency over us. And so that's one of my ultimate favorites. And if something's hard, I'm like, oh, the elephant in the room diffuses the charge. Just got to put it out there and it won't feel as big to me.
Yeah. Put it out there. Put it in front of you. Charge today. Spartan. Mm-hmm. Even when I go back to when you were talking about people facing themselves, to remind me of, are you a Star Wars fan at all?
A little
No, a little
bit.
bit. So when he goes to meet Yoda, which is the master, Yoda doesn't really teach him anything, but he said, "Hey, go over in that valley over there." So he goes in there and he faces it, and he goes and he sees Darth Vader, but then he's facing himself. It's like, hey, that's your greatest battle right there
Yes.
on your path, on your journey. So I always thought that was so deep. So
Oh,
I just
yeah.
wanted to get
That's
that
so
note.
good. Well, and it reminds me too of, I have so many people that come to me and they're feeling like life is like out to get them. Like they're feeling like totally defeated by the things that happen in their life, whether it's currently or something that happened in the past. And it's like life isn't trying to beat us down or like take us out. I think it's really about us building our capacity to feel more, to experience more, and when we're adults, have more resiliency, because that is something that can be built. But when we can do that, we can face things easier, because I think that we all live in this mystical season of like, oh, things are just going to get easier. One day my life will be slower. It'll be, when the kids grow up, like, no, it's still going to be busy. It's still going to be hard. Like life will life. It's never going to stop lifing. That's
1000%.
why we came here in this place, to learn what we're learning now. And that learning doesn't stop. So it's not that life is trying to harm us. Life is trying to teach us, and we have to be able to build our capacity to be able to hold all of life experience, hold our emotional experience, and not neglect it, even when life tells us not to prioritize it.
Yeah. One of my favorite quotes too is a guy was saying, he said, life doesn't get easier, you just got stronger. You just get stronger over time. So
exactly.
People set goals all the time, but they usually are missing when it comes to executing them. Why is that?
I think it goes back to that misalignment of values. It's us not really understanding the value of our time, why we're making that goal, and who are we making that goal for. I think if people really stopped to think about that last question, who are you making this goal for? Are you making it from a meaningful place, or are you making it for other people, or are you doing it because it sounds good? I think that's why, like, I'm sure that you resonate with this because of the work that you're doing in the fitness space. Everybody wants to work out and get fit at the beginning of the year. Well, that usually doesn't work for most people because it doesn't come from an aligned place with themselves. They're doing it because, it's the first of the year and everybody tells me to make these goals and resolutions.
Yeah.
But it never came from a meaningful, valuable place within themselves. And so I think that really matters. Like, are you doing this because the world told you that you're fat and you need to lose weight? Or are you doing it because you really care about your health and you really want to feel better?
Yes.
And why do you want to feel better? And so really being able to get deeper with some of those questions so that it's something that you stick to.
Definitely, yeah. Going those levels deep. I would say we got to go at least 8 levels deep to really get to what our reason why. Speaking of the New Year's resolution thing, you find a lot of people, they say, oh, they want to start on January 1, but they thought about it in October or November. And then they didn't do it. So the muscle of not doing it was built up until
That's
January.
so big. Yeah.
So when they come at it, it's like, oh, well, that muscle is way stronger than this muscle because you didn't take action and execute.
Yes.
So
exactly.
it's like, you should have did it then. You should have started then, started walking, or
Exactly.
whatever it might be, or started reading, whatever your goals might be. Looking ahead, what's the boldest vision you're stepping into for your business, your mission, or your personal life?
Oh, that's really good. The biggest vision that I'm stepping into is bringing these conversations about trauma, our like inner shadow work stuff into the world, like in a bigger way, in terms of like talking more about it, getting on more stages, talking about it, and then bringing this conversation into the corporate world too. Because I really believe that the corporate world has a responsibility in service to their employees to have these conversations, to have a space to be able to heal from them. So bringing my coaching into the workplaces, it's a conversation that I'm having with different employers about having me be a resource to them in terms of my coaching capabilities. So that's a really bold and different vision in terms of, like, I would say that historically the conversation has been, well, it's not my responsibility to make sure that my employees heal from their trauma or even have a space to talk about it. Well, it might not be their responsibility, but it's in their best interest to be able to.
No, definitely is in your best interest for a lot of reasons. And one thing that they care about is that bottom line. So, if you don't have a healthy individual, then they're not going to be as productive. And then people are people too. You got to really begin to appreciate and value the individual in front of you, right? For these corporations, instead of being, hey, this person's pushing this button. Hey, this is a person, and I'm here for you. We're actually building a family. Don't just call it a family, and then when it's time to let everybody go, you give them a message.
Exactly. Yep. Exactly.
Here's a voice message.
Exactly.
With mindset, healing, and leadership always evolving, what's the next level that you're excited to explore and teach?
Yeah, something that I'm really excited to explore and teach is talking about love in a different way. And I know it's like the fluffiest word ever, but it's something that I've been contemplating about, something to incorporate in my talks, but also writing a book about this.
Oh, awesome.
But this idea that trauma comes from us stepping away from love. And I know it's like this super complex topic that I'm still unpacking, but I believe that everyone is made from love. And what happens when trauma happens is that love, in which we all are, has like walked away from themselves, and it's casted this shadow. And the shadow is the darkness that creates the trauma. And trauma is like this seed that has like just continued to grow. It happens to one person, then this person like shares it with this other person, then it just keeps going. But it's this concept of how do we all return back to a place of love, which is what we're from and who we are. And so really being able to get people to see everyone from that lens, like even the person that hurt you, they were made from love, but they turned away from it. And it casted this shadow of darkness upon them. And now they've shared it with you. So how can we look at the people that hurt us from a lens of compassion? It doesn't mean we welcome them back into our lives, because forgiveness is not re-entry. Like, I really am a firm believer of that. Yes. But how can we start healing from a place of love instead of continuing like sharing of the shadow of darkness? Because it's not loving. Because again, it goes back to what we had talked about a little bit ago of like, I have every excuse to say F you to the world because of what the world has shared, what people in the world have shared with me in terms of like hurting me. Yeah. Not helpful. That's not helpful for me. That's not helpful for the people that have even hurt me, because I'm sharing their darkness back with them. It doesn't help the people that I meet that don't know me yet. So how can I return back to love and see people from this compassionate lens of like, even the people that have hurt me were once a loving person until something bad happened to them. And then they shared that with the world. Yeah. Does that make sense? No, I know it's like this really crazy big topic, but I'm unpacking it.
Whew, that's gonna be a good book. I'm telling you right there. Yeah. You give me a copy. Forgiveness is such a big thing, the big part of it. I love the way you said too, forgiveness without reentry.
Yeah.
Because they can come back and do some more damage, you know. And
exactly.
Yeah. Forgiveness is such a major key. It just releases you from so much, right?
It does.
Yeah. Is kind of that what you find in a lot of your work? People, they just have people they need to forgive, and that, hey, I got to let this go.
Yeah. Yeah. And the biggest person is themselves. Like, they will hold themselves in contempt for their entire lives. Not forgiving themselves for a conversation that they were in that hurt somebody else. They're holding themselves in contempt for being with someone that they know that they shouldn't have been with, or would have been better off, but they stayed there anyways, or mistakes that they had made in the past. The most important person that they have to forgive is themselves. And that's the big work, because if you can start seeing yourself from a loving, compassionate lens, then you can start to see the world through that lens too.
You can become a Jedi.
Exactly.
Finally, where can people find you, connect with you, whether it's coaching, events, or your podcast?
Yeah, so VanessaMcNeal.com is the easiest way to find how my coaching method works, to be able to book a consult call with me, and then Instagram, LinkedIn, TikTok, I'm on all of those.
Awesome. And what's your podcast name?
My podcast I haven't touched since 2021,
Oh, okay.
so we're just gonna leave that out for now.
Leave it, but we probably got some good stuff they can go back
No,
to.
it's
but,
really good.
Okay, yeah, I'll check some of that shit.